your brain cells off a few, and that is why I hate you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. I'm Matthew. Sitting here with my buddy Juaquime, getting ready to
Makes it sound like we kind of know what we're doing.
get more bullshit.
And that is why I hate you.
Ba-ba-ba.
Yeah, guys, that's our new theme song from Justin Nosik, who you may know if you're an ICS listener is Froyo Soft Serve. He's the man. I will post his information in the show notes from now on, so you can check him out. He's on Bandcamp. Good
Thank
guy.
you, Justin.
Great guy. Yeah, great guy. Does a ton of jingles for a bunch of the ICS family of podcasts. they're really good. I like it. I dig it. I don't know. Like, part of me is like nostalgia wise, still like the old one too. So I don't know. Maybe we'll switch it up once in a while.
Same here. Same here. It's crazy.
Maybe we'll
I
just
feel a weird
trade.
loyalty to it.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like, Justin's is so much better produced. It just sounds cleaner. You can understand the lyrics better. But then at the same time, I'm like, oh, we've been using that for a year. So I don't know. It's funny because he did a new ICS jingle theme after 1,000 episodes of the old theme. And a lot of people, I think, bitched at them. Like, and it was the same song. It was just a heavy metal version. So it's the same thing we're doing. It's just a different kind of version. And they've kind of been doing both, like on and off. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do that too. So what's going on? How's the house stuff going on with you?
No, it's not going on at all. It's just insurance is just dragging their feet as slow as possible. I'm sorry, no, it's not even the insurance company this time. They sent us the check, and the check has to go to the mortgage, and then the mortgage has to send it back to us. And it will take them up to 2 weeks to do so.
So meanwhile, you're just sitting around waiting for them to start fixing shit.
Just pretty much, we're not freeloading, but living in someone else's house. This is the most uncomfortable I've ever been in a really nice house.
Well, yeah, and I mean, not. I'm sure they're happy to have you, but I mean, the idea of I don't like being in a hotel room for a week, you know. So
no, I'm luckily not in a hotel. I'm so super happy I'm not in a hotel, but I'm in the next level over, which is an in-laws house.
Well, I mean, like I don't.
A hotel would just be, I'd be bleeding out money.
Well, the way I'm thinking of it is, I wouldn't like to be in a hotel, and you're in a place now that has other people living there too. So it's like another step to me. It's another step even in the other direction. Because I love my in-laws, but I don't know, man. Having to live with a whole new set of people, it's hard enough. Like getting used to living with your spouse or your significant other at first, and then you have kids, and you got to get used to living with the extra kid there now, and then you have another kid. Mm-hmm. So, like, it takes time to get used to that, and then you're just thrust into a situation where you got 2-3 other people living with you.
And it's just never easy juggling everybody's emotional states all at once.
Yeah, I can't even begin to imagine.
I can't. So I try my best not to complain too much until we start recording an episode. God, it's killing me.
You can complain to me whenever you want. That's what friends are for. Venting.
No, you have enough going on. I don't want to.
No, man, I'm good. Can you see my face? Do you see the fucking rash?
You're a little blurry for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just so sick.
But
I don't know what to do. Like, I felt really bad the last week, and I finally took my medication they gave me because I was like, I still feel like crap after a week, but I don't know what's going on. I did hear from so just a really quick summary. I've had blood work 4 times. The first time I took it, I was positive for ANA, which is autoimmune related. I went to a rheumatologist. They took blood. They said, oh, it's fine. We'll take it again in 3 months. I just went like a week ago, had blood taken by the rheumatologist, also had blood taken by a gastroenterologist. Rheumatologist blood work said it was negative again. Gastroenterologist's office called me and said, oh, hey, it's positive. And it's higher than I told you. I got it wrong because the gastroenterologist actually called me today. I finally got a call back from a doctor, and he was like, yeah, it's moderately high. Like, it's not in the like low range or like medium. It's moderately high. Yeah. So I don't know why I'm getting negatives. I called the rheumatologist's office like 5 times. Nobody's called me back. I don't have my appointment for a couple weeks. So I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck's wrong with me. But I did start taking the medication they gave me. It's an immunosuppressant, and I'm sick all the fucking time. So in my head, I was like, I don't want to suppress my immune system when I'm already getting sick all the fucking time, right? But I figured, what am I supposed to do? I guess I have to give it a shot.
At this point, you're either suffering and dying, or you're just dying.
Yeah. So I might as well just take the goddamn pills and see what happens. So I don't know. I mean, on the positive side, I went to the dentist the other day, which I haven't been in a couple of months, and I had no new work that they were like, Oh yeah, you got to come in again.
Good.
I had nothing new, so that's the first time in like a
I
year.
just had a dentist appointment. I just had a dentist appointment as well, and I sat and waited. They brought me in and checked my teeth. Said, "Oh, you have two fillings that you need. Let's make another appointment for you."
Instead of just doing it.
Yeah. So, and the reason why he said he's not going to do it is because there's two fillings that need to be done on each side of my face,
So did
and
they
you can't
do?
numb your entire face. But they didn't even do one
Dude.
half. They're going to do. They're going to do one on one day, and then the next day they're going to do the other side.
That's so fucking stupid. First off, I've had my whole face
And I
fucking
paid
numb.
them.
I've gotten
I
at
paid-
least 3/4 of my face numb before, so that's bullshit. They could definitely do at least both sides.
No, I think the doctor himself, that's just not a thing he wants to do.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But and I understand why he wouldn't want to do it because it really is not a safe thing to do.
Well, it's not fun.
Like if
either.
your entire tongue, yeah, but if your entire tongue goes numb, like I've done it where
it's
like,
hard. It's hard to swallow.
It's hard to swallow. It's hard. Like you can forget to swallow.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Oh yeah,
really
absolutely.
bad.
I had 3/4 of my face numbed. I think there was one quadrant in my mouth that did get numbed, and I like it felt weird to swallow. I had like forced myself to, but I don't know.
My tongue
I was
fell
happy
into
about
the
that.
back of my throat once. Like
Oh,
the
really?
army numbed my entire mouth,
Oh, man.
and I
Yeah, that's dangerous.
and I fell asleep. And I was dozing off, and my tongue just like crinkled into the back of my throat. I'm just like,
Like you had
like, put my hand in my mouth, holding my tongue down, just freaking out.
like yeah,
was
what?
bad.
Oh god, what's that sleep condition? You know, where you like basically
Sleep
choke.
apnea?
Yeah, you basically choke to death every night, over and over again.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but I was happy. At least I
I
don't
do
have
have
to go
something
back.
for you because it's something that interests both of us.
Ooh,
You with AI
okay.
and me with Cyrax.
Oh boy, a combination of the two.
So Cyrax is going to jail. Or I'm sorry, no, he's going to court. Hopefully he goes to jail.
Is this over the assault we talked about a while ago?
Over the assault, yes. So he's going to court, and during this time, there's this miniature arc that he went through where people were tricking him into proving that he wasn't an AI. They were saying, no, Cyrax is dead, and so this is AI Rax we're seeing on the computer. It's like, well, AIs can't pour water on their head. So he was like pouring water on his head, and like just because he's an idiot.
Why are people so stupid? I don't understand.
And mind you, everyone's an idiot when it comes to the internet.
Yeah,
But just this was
Too
like
new.
a special kind of stupid. Like he was just so bent because he's very tunnel visioned. So he was so bent on proving that he wasn't an AI that he was like, I think they were trying to get him to pour his coffee on his head, but he poured water on his head, and he kept doing it to prove.
I mean, first off, AI isn't good enough to like create a human lifelike character like that, unless it was somebody like doing deep fake technology to make their face look fucked up or something. But
Yeah.
that still means a person exists.
For
That,
Cyrax, that'd be easy to do.
well, you know, that's what I mean. Like it could be a normal person acting like a fucking maniac, and then there goes the dog, and then doing AI on there, just defaking their face
Right
to make them
over it,
look
yeah.
like a fucking goat man or something. But yeah, I mean, it's not there yet. There are lots and lots of clips on Reddit that are, you know, interesting how far it's come along as far as being to create realistic animations with voiceovers,
Absolutely.
but still very uncanny valley, nowhere near, you know, realistic to the point where you can't tell the difference. So I
Well, some years later, current day, because that was like a past event. Current day, AI Rax has been an on and off joke with people.
okay.
Well, I just heard yesterday somebody had a song that they played that was AI Rax. They digitally took his voice.
Made a song.
Because Rax thinks he's a musician. So they okay, if anybody's ever heard Cyrax's music, which I do not suggest anyone actually try to listen to it.
I will never go out of my way. No.
He is terrible. Well, they had him singing "We Didn't Start the Fire," and to hear this goblin,
how did they do it
on key? There's so much footage of his voice.
So they did voice cloning,
Like,
and
'cause
then
he does like 3 or 4 live streams a night,
right.
and he talks for hours on repeat. Like that's just so much for an AI to learn.
So it's
how
almost
to
like
mimic his voice.
they did voice cloning like we were talking about last week, and then like
Yes,
that
like
guy,
you've done to me and you did to yourself.
right? And then that guy that on TikTok, there I ruined it or something, where he takes
Yes,
songs
I
and
love
changes the
that guy.
pitch.
Yes.
So they did something like that. They took the AI voice and then pitched adjusted it to sing the song.
Yes, which they had. There I Ruined It has a video up of Snoop Dogg reacting to one of his songs. It's
Oh,
really good. You got to check that out. Snoop Dogg on TikTok reacted to it.
I
And
saw
just
that, but
watching, like,
I skipped it. I don't know
yo,
why.
you gotta see it.
I don't know why I
His
skipped
reaction
it.
is so good
Oh,
and
okay.
genuine.
I usually don't like reaction videos, so I think I just was like, oh, I'll
It's
just pass
not.
by it.
It was like a short thing. Like Snoop, just people listen to people remix his stuff all the time. I'm
Right.
sure.
Yeah, of course.
And Snoop is usually very fond of people of music, like of all kinds of different musics and remixes.
Sure.
So to listen to himself
Completely.
sound completely in a ridiculous
Yeah.
in a ridiculous form, and then just kind of start digging it at the end. It's really good. It's just super good.
That guy is very,
But-
very talented with what he does with the pitch correction and changing and mixing different songs together.
Oh, he's
I-
so good.
I was down at
But
TikTok.
he has a Oh, sorry.
No, I was down at TikTok rabbit hole last night when couldn't sleep, which I'm sure you saw. I sent you that one video. that guy,
Yes.
that guy, there's more of them. You should go watch. There's this guy on TikTok where he's got like a little safety doll, and he just brings it to the playground, and he's just like,
Oh, I love that.
he's just fucking
That's
up
a concussion.
he's just fucking up the doll on the
that's a kid.
playground. He just like throws it down
That's
the
a
slide.
concussion.
Yeah, he's like, up, say it's not safe, but he's just taking this like kind of realistic looking child rag doll and like just throwing it around a playground. It's fucking hilarious. And then a couple times he just slams its head into something.
He's slamming it and guessing, not gonna get through that.
It's really good. I should put that in the show notes too. But yeah.
So, but There I Ruined It. Just speaking to him really quick, he has a choose your own adventure game on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yes, I spent a good hour and a half just playing it.
Didn't even
It's
realize he
stupid.
had a YouTube channel.
It's really stupid. It's stupid frustrating, but I found it so fun to listen to his music while you're doing it.
I will have
But back
to
to Cyrax and AI.
check it out. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Going back to Cyrax and AI. So he's playing We Didn't Start the Fire. I'll do a little clip of it. He's on key.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And it actually it has this little like weird mouth muffle that he does.
It
I'm
doesn't
just
sound
like,
too bad.
This is as if Rex had even a little bit of talent, just a modicum of talent.
Sure.
But it's like who he wishes he can be. The fact that he's been a lolcow for so long that the AI era has started again in reality. Like now we just need a visual component and it's fully gonna happen.
They just make him
where AI Rex will be a good thing, and real Rex will be in jail.
He'll be in jail, and his AI version will be making fucking music, putting it up on Spotify.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait.
It's funny you bring that up. I was listening again. I couldn't sleep last night. What else is new? I was listening to a lot of old songs I had recorded, like just like I have like songs I tried to record on my computer and like tracked out. I have songs that I just took from, I digitalized analog cassettes that I just put in a recorder and hit play while like we were jamming in a basement. I even have tracks that our mutual friend Rock and I did when we were like 16 at some dude we knew's quote unquote studio of songs we were playing back then in his attic. So I was thinking the other night, I was like,
I'm about to say closet is either closet or an attic.
It was the
space.
attic. It was the attic, and it was just filled with just junk everywhere. We kind of pushed it all to one room and made space to play until his mother kicked us out eventually. But I was thinking about it. I was just like, man, I haven't thought about this stuff in a long time. And maybe I should just start posting it. Every once in a while, I'll post a new song. Maybe I'll make a blog and just go over like all the old music I wrote and post one song like every week or two and just, hey, here's everything I remember about it. Like when we were writing it or when I was recording it or what was going on at the time, who was there at the recording, like what things I remember about making the song. I don't know. I thought it might be interesting, not for anyone else but me, but I thought it might be fun to go through, kind of archive that history.
I have some garbage music of my own that's on like SoundCloud.
Oh, really?
I'll never say the name of
Yeah,
it, so
I'll
it'd have to
find
be
it.
found.
I'll find
But
it.
I definitely have some garbage music out
I
there.
got sleuth skills, man. You didn't know I'm an internet detective?
If you can find it, I will allow you to play it on air as much as I hate it. And
um,
you, one rule, you cannot ask my wife.
I can't
You're
ask her
not
what.
allowed. You're not allowed to ask my wife anything
Oh,
about my
how to
music.
find it?
She knows about it,
Oh,
so
okay.
to help you find it,
No,
you have
that's
to find
fair.
it on
That's
your
fair. I
own.
wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go to a first-hand source that could just point me to it. I'd want to find it on my own. Maybe one day I'll go. I'm bored one night.
But that your only clue is it's on SoundCloud.
That's not. I mean, that's a pretty decent clue.
And no, you're not going to find it under Lil Keem. That's just not going to happen.
That'd be a good name for you. That'd be a really good name for you. Did you? I'm sure you don't give a fuck. And it's funny because I didn't give a fuck this year either. But did you see the U.S. Women's national team got eliminated from the World Cup already? It's like just started basically.
Yeah, you're right. I don't give. It's not that there's a women's team that I don't care. It never.
Well, it's
I
funny.
don't even know in what sport you're talking about.
Soccer. So the World Cup is
Okay.
FIFA
Yeah,
World
no,
Cup.
I don't care.
I 4 years ago, in the 4 years, I feel like there was a bigger deal made. Like people were really into it, and I enjoyed watching the games. This year was a little different because it was in, I think, New Zealand, so the games were like 3 a.m, like 5 a.m, so it's impossible to really watch live. But
Yeah.
in past years, I've really enjoyed watching because the women's team has been historically very, very good, and the men's team has sucked. So people, and it's funny because there's always those arguments about how the men's team makes so much more money than the women's team, and honestly the men's team sucks. They never do well, and the women's team has won gold like a bunch of times. They won 4 years ago, if I remember correctly. I think they might have even won 4 years before that. It was a lot of fun to watch, and I didn't have any desire to watch any of it this year. They completely sucked. They did terribly, and they got eliminated, not in the group stage, which is the first part, but when the bracket started, so that the very first round of the bracket, they got eliminated in a terrible game. From what I watched, and I watched some clips, they did terrible.
What denotes a terrible game for soccer? Like your team losing, or it being like boring?
So in this
like
particular instance, it was a 0-0 game. So they're known for their offense. They've always traditionally scored a lot of goals. They couldn't score. And went to penalty kicks, and they just boffed a bunch of kicks. They just missed. And again, I'm not a professional soccer player, but that's a big fucking net, and they're not that far away. I always laugh when they miss because you watch, and it's literally like just kind of kick it to one side hard enough. And sometimes you see them try to go for like top corners because then the goalie really can't get it. And otherwise, it's kind of a 50-50 guess, and then it's maybe the goalie gets to the ball if he guesses the right side. And you see them. I've watched many professional soccer games and seen shootouts where they just kind of kick it to one side, and as long as they kick it hard enough, probably you're gonna make the shot. But yeah, so they were really bad. But then I saw a tweet, or whatever you want to fucking call it now. I think from the POTUS account, I think it was, or maybe it was the Vice POTUS account, one of the fucking White House account, something like that. And it was like, oh, we're so proud of you, blah, blah, blah. All the comments were just like, they fucking sucked. What are we proud of? And I guess they refused to sing the anthem too. So people were just lighting up the thread. Which is a whole nother discussion I don't feel like getting into, but we're so proud of you. They fucking sucked. They did terribly.
So I got exposed to soccer and cricket at the same time.
Okay.
Because it was in college, and it was a lot of people from abroad.
Sure, that makes sense.
And so sitting in like the common room, and they're playing football, as they were saying it there, but soccer, and I'm just like, nobody's gotten anything, and the field is so long.
Yeah,
it's like watching NASCAR, but there are no cars.
Well, I mean,
but everyone's so excited. Everyone is just, and what flopping is an actual tactic, and I don't get it.
So,
but then I saw cricket, and cricket had me mesmerized for the first
cricket's pretty cool.
For the first hour, because I was trying to understand it.
Yeah, it's a complicated game. people compare it to
Overly
baseball, and it's
complicated.
really not like baseball. It really isn't.
No,
I don't.
not at all. The fact that you can't swing horizontally is vertical.
Yeah,
Like,
and
that throws me off
there's so many
completely.
different rules from baseball, so I don't know. I guess you're hitting a ball with a bat, and that's the comparison.
That's a comparison.
I don't know a lot about cricket. I've watched like some highlights and stuff of like cool stuff that's happened, and big games just to out of pure curiosity. Soccer is odd. I really got into soccer a few years back, and I liked the New York Red Bulls a lot. And
Yeah.
it was so cheap. You could go down and see a game for like nothing. I mean, season tickets. I bought season tickets one year. They were like $110. It's like ridiculous.
Is it just everybody in the stands are drunk? Is that what makes
Um,
it interesting?
no.
I'm sorry, I sound very cynical, but I just really I have
Well,
a hard on.
I don't know what got me into it, but the more I watch it, the more hockey ruined every other sport for me because it's fast, it's violent, it's a man's game. And I know that sounds sexist or whatever because there's women that play it
See,
too.
you see
But
that.
it's
I don't see that in hockey. I really don't.
when I say it's a man's game, I mean it's a game for tough people. So fine, maybe I don't want to sound sexist. It's a game for tough
Numbskulls is a
motherfuckers.
game for numbskulls.
It's not though. It used to be in the 80s where they had those players. There was literally they had goons on the team that were enforcers that were out there just
Yeah,
to
there's
hurt
a
people.
movie about it.
They don't have that anymore. It's pretty much out of the game. There are still players that play hard and check hard, but there's nobody that's there just to try to hurt somebody on the other team. There's maybe one or two players left that are considered enforcers.
It's softened like football, or I'm sorry, like American football.
Yeah. It's such a fast paced, hard, grinding, just tough game that everything else seems so slow and boring to me. And I eventually kind of stopped liking soccer. And then I started watching the Premier
Yeah.
League a couple years ago. And I agree with you. The flopping is a huge issue. In the Premier League, they don't do that. I don't know why, because these same players then go on and play for their countries in national games and flop all over the place. But in the Premier League,
Yeah,
the English,
it seems embarrassing to me.
yeah, in the English
It
Premier
really
League, it's
does.
almost like they're just like, no, we're out here playing the game, being tough. We're not going to act like a bunch of little girl. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. A bunch of little babies.
Ooh, you show your sexism.
I did.
Sexism is showing.
I'm trying to fix it. A bunch of little babies out here crying on the fucking ground,
Oh,
whining.
so now you're ableist.
Uh,
You
fine.
infantilizing the players?
Fine, clip this and make me look like an asshole if you want. And I do enjoy the Premier League more, but it's still, to your point, it's just such a slow game. There are games that end, and you're talking
Very
about
slow.
90 minutes of play, and it's a 0-0 game, and there's like 3 shots on net either side. Like that happens.
Yeah.
So I don't totally get the world's infatuation with it. And again, I don't understand how the NHL is like the 4th best or 4th most popular sport in North America, because I just find it to be a much better thing to watch. I just find it way more entertaining. But I don't want to talk about that too much.
I mean, I know I'm the weirdo in all respects because I just can't really get into sports.
I never
I've done
did.
wrestling. I've done football. I've watched boxing is probably the only sport I really liked for a really long time. But ultimately, I just don't like sports. So I know I'm the odd man out, and I'm okay with that.
No,
But for me, sorry.
I do understand where you're coming from. I did not like sports. I didn't watch any sports until maybe 2011 it was. My brother told me the Rangers were in the playoffs. He was like, you should watch it. It's really good. I put it on. I watched a couple of the playoff games, and playoff hockey is a different level. It's a different animal. They go out there and they go out there. They don't care if they're hurt. They are playing fucking hard. They will hit hard. It's literally a different game. And it was so
well. That's why a lot of people watch college games, or at least that's why I feel like that's the appeal of college games.
No,
where
I
they
get
have
it.
something to prove.
No, that makes sense. But it was just I was infatuated with it. I was so just enveloped with how entertaining it was, and I was just like, this is fucking awesome. And I got into it.
Okay.
And then from that, I mean, when I was younger, I watched baseball once in a while, but I never was really into sports. I still watch UFC once in a while. I only started watching that within the last 6 months or so. And
I know I suggested UFC, but UFC has been falling off a lot recently too. Like Dana White's killing it. Like honestly, like he's killing the
Well,
creature he built.
what I've noticed is it's very hit or miss for me, where there are fights where they're really just grappling a lot, and I'm like, this is stupid. Like, they're just holding each other on the ground, and I get it.
Oh, I think we've talked about this.
Yeah, we probably have, and
Yeah.
I get that the ground control's a thing. Like, you're enforcing yourself on the other person, you're holding them down, and that counts. But I'd rather watch two guys just beat the shit out of each other. You know, I want them punching and
Hey,
kicking.
at some points, WWE is just more viable than MMA. I'm just saying.
It is, and I have to be honest. I was watching the newest UFC pay-per-view. It was just like last weekend, I think, or maybe it was just past Saturday. It was yeah, I think it was this past Saturday. And I was the main event was great. It was an awesome knockout. Dude kicked the other dude right in the fucking side of the head, knocked him out cold. And I was just thinking to myself, what if the whole card is like that? What if they put together a card and like every match is like a minute and a half and people are sitting there 3 hours and there's 15 total minutes of matches? And then I started thinking,
Yeah.
I wonder if they tweak things a little bit to like, hey, go out the second, third round, first, second, and third rounds and take it a little easy on each other.
UFC is no different than boxing. Like boxing back in the not even back in the day. Boxing now is just mainly rigged. The reason
You
why
think
it's
so?
a lot of boxing is because boxing was super fucking rigged around the late 90s, early 2000s, and continued to be for a while. HBO boxing for the longest time I used to follow the most.
Yeah,
because
I did too for a while.
Felt like the rounds were like a real struggle. So even if it was fake, I wouldn't be able to tell.
I mean, I
Some shit
remember
is just ridiculous.
I remember Mike Tyson watching live. Mike Tyson bite off Holyfield's
Yep,
ear.
Holyfield's ear, and then they rematched, and he fucking did it again.
Yeah.
Let's just be real here.
I did watch. I actually watched which one of the Paul's boxes? The one that boxes. He fought Nate Diaz, an MMA
Jake
fighter,
Paul. Yeah,
and it was like
I refused.
I was watching
Anything with
it.
Jake Paul, I just kind of want to fucking tear my eyes out.
It was on.
I hate that dude.
It was on. I put it on and I watched a little bit. Like I watched the first match, and they were like, "This is an MMA fighter who's never had a professional boxing match before. Here's another MMA fighter who's never had a professional boxing match before." So it was two UFC fighters who had never had a professional boxing match before, and they're leading off a pay-per-view card. I was like, well, that's fucking dumb. And it was a stupid fight. Neither of them knew what they were doing.
Yep. But here's the thing with Jake Paul. He always fights people who don't know what they're doing or haven't been doing it for so long that it's fucking...
They're too old.
It's not negligible.
Yeah.
And, like, he gloats. Everybody... like talk shit, then it's a payday, and then there's a news article talking about how he cheated, and then the fighter who got hired then goes, "Yeah, I was hired to fight him."
Well,
like
that's what it is,
because they're getting money off the controversy.
Yeah,
and it's just like I don't want this.
No,
this is not what this is supposed to be about.
I watched it and it was stupid. It was very clear that it was a Jake Paul, who I don't know if he's actually a good boxer because he's never fought anybody that's good, but knows what he's doing. Like he's trained, he has a good idea against a guy who's an MMA fighter who's not a trained boxer, probably never trained before, and it was actually funny because Paul was hitting him like in the late rounds, and Nate Diaz was just like making fun of him, like, "Oh, I'm so woozy now. That hurts so bad. Like this is bullshit. Almost like this is such a bullshit thing to do."
The fact that Anderson Silva, like one of the best MMA fighters out there, signed on to do a fight against Jake Paul. Yeah. And it was a bullshit fight.
Right.
And they were palling around before the fight and palling around after the fight. And then they it fucking drives me nuts that money fucking ruins.
I was just going to say that. Like, the fact, it drives me fucking crazy that this dude is literally just paying people to come and fight him so he can beat them up because he knows he can and make himself look like he's this awesome boxer. And people that are stupid paying money to watch what is essentially two dumbasses, amateurs, fighting each other for a shit ton of money. It's such... I didn't pay money for it. I mean, I'll say that. But it's just a load of shit.
But that's why I've always hated Floyd Mayweather. I hate him for that because he helped push that shit. Fighters like Conor McGregor, fuck him. Yes, they were really fun to watch. You know what? It's really good to watch people shit talk and then fight. But it's terrible to watch people shit talk and then just play patty cake for a few rounds.
Yep.
That's just, I don't understand why the masses like that.
I
I
don't.
absolutely fucking hate it, and I don't understand
Well, I don't like the lack. I very very much appreciate the sportsmanship and the camaraderie that they have. I know they shit talk each other a lot before the fights,
it.
but
Yeah,
once the fight's
they don't
over,
have to hate each
no,
other.
they're hugging, they're shaking each other's hand, like they're good. Like they just beat the shit out
Because
of each other, and then they're good sports
here's the
about it.
thing: people in general, like sports wise, don't like fights. We like duels.
Yes,
Dueling. That's why dueling was such a big thing in America for the longest
no,
time,
you're right.
and actually in Europe.
It's a very good point.
Dueling is fun to watch. People pitting their skills against one another.
That's a good distinction.
That's and when you fucking corrupt that, now we're just having like diet versions of whatever that is because nobody really wants to get hurt.
Right,
Which I get it. Then don't join that fucking profession.
right. Oh, that makes
Because
sense.
guess what? People who don't fight, gymnasts, that's not fighting, but they are hurting themselves to be gymnasts. Skateboarders are hurting themselves to be good skateboarders.
Pro wrestlers are hurting themselves.
Pro wrestlers are
Selves.
fucking. If we see a fucking X-ray of the Undertaker's fucking bones or Rey Mysterio's knees,
I mean,
tell me those motherfuckers aren't hurting themselves.
I don't know if I've talked to you about Dark Side of the Ring. Have I talked to you about that yet?
Yes, you have.
Yeah, I mean, watching some of those, and I mean, we know of some of the horrific deaths that have occurred because of it. There's wrestlers that have been paralyzed because of bad botches. But just in general, if you watch some of the episodes, I think it was the one on the Ultimate Warrior, maybe. They talked a lot about the amount of head trauma they took and how badly it distorts.
I'm not saying there's not supposed to be safety things. I'm not saying that because we all know the WWE is corrupted as hell. Hell, the wrestling federations in general have a long line of corruption.
Yeah,
but that's just purely entertainment.
Sure.
There has to be a line that nobody seems to be meeting. And what frustrates me more than anything of these people doing it are the people who are on our level, the people paying into it, defending that bullshit.
No, I agree.
That's usually my anger with everything, generally, like the people who defend stupid shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Just because they like it. Like, I just, look, oh my God.
No, you're right.
Like, there's...
When
sorry, go on.
It was just comes back to tribalism, just like any we've talked about many times.
Leading into that, you've heard the news that's going on with Lizzo. You're familiar with who Lizzo is,
Of course, I know who Lizzo is, but I don't think, did somebody throw something at her on stage? Was that her?
I don't know.
Oh, that might have been somebody else. Oh, you know what? That might have been like Cardi B or something.
Lizzo's being sued. Yes, I think Cardi B had something thrown at her and she threw something back.
Yeah, she caught it and threw it back, I believe. Anyway, go ahead.
Which I kind of admit, as much as I don't care for Cardi, I think that's pretty baller.
Oh, look, honestly, I don't care how much I dislike a performer. Throwing shit at him is just it's not cool. It's period. Ridiculous. I don't care how much you dislike him.
But Lizzo is apparently, because she got swept up in like the ridiculous version or the extreme of the body positivity.
Yes.
Love yourself. Mm-hmm. I'm a queen. I'm big, but I'm fit kind of like sphere.
Which, wait, is that a thing? I'm big, but I'm fit?
Uh-huh.
Aren't those...
It's called health at every size.
Isn't that like an oxymoron?
I'm going to say yes to everything you're questioning.
I'm talking out of my ass. I have no idea.
No. There's this woman called Virgie Tovar. She's a nutritionalist, apparently. The woman's like 300-something pounds. She has a tendency to tell like skinny people that they shouldn't judge fat people for grabbing cake because of her own internal insecurity.
I don't judge anybody for their weight or size. I don't give a fuck. If you want to be 300 pounds, fine. Be 300 pounds.
My thing is, you tell me but these people believe that having someone, like needing someone to wipe your ass is perfectly fine.
Well, that's where
they are healthy.
That's where I draw the line when you're encouraging it as a healthy behavior. I mean, it's not. If you want to weigh 300 pounds, go ahead, weigh 300 pounds. But I don't see how that could be healthy in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and they push the same notion that if you don't like big people, then you're fat phobic, and you can be fat and be fat phobic because if you're losing weight, those are the same people that fucking got on what's her name from Pitch Perfect, the British comedian.
Oh, Fat Amy was
Um,
her name on Pitch Perfect, but now Rebel
yeah,
Wilson.
Rebel
Yeah,
Wilson. When she lost weight, they fucking
I
demolished
know.
her
Oh,
online.
God forbid she decide to change her body in any way,
They
shape, or
did the
form.
same shit to
How dare
Adele.
she?
They
I bet those people
they
are
like.
also 100% pro-choice, right? It's your body, your choice. But how dare you lose
so
weight, you motherfucker?
but Lizzo is one of those people. And the thing is, I was okay with Lizzo until she started really like contradicting herself and just kind of, yes, you can be flexible. Yes, you can have a level of health. Losing weight is fucking difficult. I get it.
It's difficult. It comes with its
So,
own
and
complications.
I don't feel like you need to have a perfect body as long as you're comfortable with it.
I
But I
agree.
don't like the extreme the other way, especially when you're pushing your own ideals on people and those ideals happen to be very restrictive.
Sure.
And so Lizzo is being that type of person, is being sued by a lot of backup dancers for body shaming and like
Like not
questioning the
hiring them,
girl
or
because her backup dancers are bigger girls.
so are
And
these
she the one girl gained weight and she's saying, oh, they were questioning her capabilities because she gained weight.
okay?
And like, what?
But
I mean,
so she gained
I
weight,
get what you're
and then
saying,
the
but I
person
don't get
who's
what you're
talking
saying.
about body positivity and any weight is fine wants to fire her.
Yes, or at least questioning her capabilities to keep doing her job.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
then she would have these non-mandatory parties after, doing rehearsals or whatever.
Sure.
And like they went to this one place where they had pretty much talented strippers.
What does that
And
mean?
like they would
What, as
and
opposed
I
to
mean, I think
untalented strippers?
just use, yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? But
I mean, look, from a
the
man's
talent
point of
I'm
view,
saying the talent I'm saying is the stereotypical like Vietnamese stripper talents of like shooting ping pong
out of
balls
their
and
pussies.
sucking in smoke and yeah, that
Oh,
kind of
I mean,
crazy
that's,
nonsense.
I don't know why that's, I mean, as
And
speaking
pure
from a man's point of view, I don't think there's a such thing as an untalented stripper. If you take your
that's what
clothes
I'm
off, you're a
saying.
stripper and you're fine. If you're
Well,
showing your titties, I think
look,
you're good.
the name alone is kind of a misnomer because I'm sorry. I find myself the fact that pole dancing is now becoming like a juggling act
Yeah.
and people are like doing weird like stripper moves where they do the elevator or the escalator or whatever they call it, where they put their arm behind their back and they're just crawling up there. Like that's insane to me. The fact that you're holding on to a greasy bar and you have the grip of a god as you're swinging him around that
Hey,
thing like a
well,
helicopter propeller
I think there's
is
a
insane to
I
me.
think there's a distinction. If you want to go do that in like Cirque du Soleil as an act, that's cool. But if you're just at a strip club, just show your titties. I don't think you need to do anything else.
Just walk out on
Yeah,
stage.
yeah. Like, I mean, I don't really
Okay.
understand the whole point of the. We've talked before that neither of us are comfortable with strip clubs, but in my head,
No.
I don't really see the the necessity for anything. Just walk out naked, and I think you're
Look,
doing your job.
look, I every time I think of a strip club, the smell of that one in Texas hits me, and just I get really uncomfortable deep down. But
Fair.
I will never say that any of the strippers I saw were not very like way more fit than I am. Like,
Well, I mean,
and definitely their confidence is a talent that I cannot have.
sure. No,
Like
I would agree.
that is a talent all on its own for me.
And obviously,
Mind you,
there's a certain standard of objective beauty that's out there. So I'm sure
yes,
the idea is when they're hired, they're trying to adhere to that. Whether that's right or not, I'm sure
I couldn't.
it's a thing.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine as a non-stripper.
Oh, we're
I
leading
d-
in already. It's a little sneak peek, folks.
That's a little sneak peek. But going back to the thing, so they're like, this one person apparently was peer pressured by Lizzo, who started it, like to eat a banana out of one of the strippers.
Out of what, Joaquime? Hand?
There are only 3 places you can place a banana where it'll stay.
A hand. It was in the stripper's hand, right?
5 places.
Well, now I want to know which one.
I mean,
All right.
I think it would slip from an oily stripper's body. I think under a boob, it would just slip out.
Yeah.
The hands are a little busy, probably dancing.
Okay.
I don't think they have monkey feet, so they can't
No.
hold it.
No, that doesn't work.
Um,
Mouth? It's
the
mouth.
mouth is a
It's the mouth,
place,
right?
because
She was-
strippers
she
don't
was
care
just
what
gonna
strippers
eat
have
it.
to say. Unfortunately, like
She's
people don't
just
care what a
eating
stripper
it.
has to say unless they're being interviewed. Um,
We're down to 2.
I think the banana was smush at the back door.
Oh,
Maybe
I was
not.
kind of
I've
hoping
never-
that was the one. Remember? I told you that line from SVU. Do you know why your husband was
And I don't
sodomized
know-
with a banana?
And I don't know if it's I don't know if it's sanitary. I mean, neither is sanitary, but one's way less sanitary than the other. I don't think you'll get dysentery.
They're both
from
pretty
eating a banana out
unsanitary,
of
I
the
would
front
say.
door.
Although,
I don't think you'll get dysentery.
well, no. I
My
mean,
thing is, okay, you move a
Joaquime.
lot as a stripper. What if you're sweaty?
Joaquime.
I'm sorry. I'm
Joaquime.
just going. Oh,
People
what?
put their mouths
What?
on both of those locations on a regular basis.
Yeah, I gotta stop
right.
being so. This is objective.
All right, so-
Objectively,
Oh, cramp.
I can't.
Oh, cramp. Oh,
you deserve that.
yeah, I do. All right, so there's a stripper with a banana in her pussy.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
And Lizzo is peer pressuring this dancer to eat the banana out of this person.
Wait, was it unpeeled? Was it like
I like to
was-
imagine I like to imagine that the person has to peel the banana without it falling out.
I just pictured it in there, but the peels are down, laying on the flesh, and this the unpeeled banana sticking out. That's good
It
visual.
turns into a Benny Hinn skit. Try not to slip on the banana.
That's a good visual. Okay, so Lizzo wanted a dancer to eat a banana out of a stripper's vagina.
So that's what I'm butchering a lot of it.
I don't
but
care. It's funny.
Later on, Lizzo types up a reply. I think her publicist or whatever typed it up. But
Probably.
in somewhere in the apology, because I did read it.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
I tried to get my dancer to eat that
She was
banana
like, I work really
out of
hard.
Mystique's pussy.
She was like, I work really hard, and
And
I'm a positive person.
play
and
hard.
I'm really nice, because when you say you're nice, of course people have to believe you. And I'm very open with my sexuality, and I'm like, so you're not denying it?
Yeah, so
That's
so
what
you're
I'm
very
getting at.
open with your sexuality, and you attempted to push your open sexuality on somebody who works for you. I mean, that's all you're saying, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because here's my thing: as a celebrity, you shouldn't. I respect celebrities who don't stand for shit more than I respect a celebrity who stands for
I
something.
don't have a problem with a celebrity who stands for something as long as they keep their fucking mouth shut about it.
No, I do. No, I do. I do, because I feel like it's all virtue signaling nonsense.
Well, that's what I
to
mean.
get
Like
popularity.
if fucking Donny Osmond personally likes, baby mice and like homes them and feeds them and doesn't tell anybody, that's
Yeah.
fine. But yeah, I don't like people that
like you can endorse all the like charities you want,
sure.
maybe even be mentioned if somebody mentions it, right? But I have more respect for like an actor, like an insane actor like Marlon Brando, who was a recluse,
Yep.
than I do somebody like Lizzo or the one that owns Goop. I can't remember her name.
Gwyneth
She's
Paltrow.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't respect those people.
Well-
and I didn't pick those two women because I wanted to, because there's a shitload of male
Sure. Oh no,
celebrities who are full of shit.
I assumed.
Don't get me wrong. Those are the two names that came to mind, because I personally do not like snake oil salesmen. But I don't trust them simply because, one, people are not 100% on anything.
Right.
So if you push that about yourself, people are going to think that about you. And then when you contradict that, you can't do the, well, I'm not perfect, because no, you're an asshole. That's what you are.
Yeah.
Because you, for some reason, thought that you were perfect and could stick to these goddamn words you said.
Well, I think it goes back to our celebrity hero worship episode, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be talking about shit that you're not an expert on, knowing that there are a shit ton of people out there that are going to take your word for it and essentially treat your opinion or your stance or whatever it is like you're an expert. It's just a dangerous thing to do, and I think some of them probably think they're doing the right thing, or they're it's for the greater
At first,
good.
I believe wholeheartedly that they start that way.
Yeah.
But the road to hell is paved in good intentions.
Absolutely. That's
And
why that's a
if you get
phrase.
rich,
Did you make that up?
I think I did. I really think I did. But like for anybody, like me loving Dave Chappelle, it's the same fucking thing. Like you stay in that lane for so long and have people going, yeah, man, he the truth. Yeah, she the truth. And yeah, preach on, girl, and all that bullshit. You keep doing that shit long enough, that gets in your head. And then you think you're right all the time.
Yes.
So even when you do wrong, you're like, but I've done so much good, though. You know what? Fuck it. As long as nobody finds out. Or, well, fuck it. Nobody's gonna turn against me. And might not even be an active thought. You're just growing into this asshole that thinks you're never wrong, or you're gonna keep finding ways to excuse the shitty thoughts or behavior. Especially if any of that stuff that these people are saying about Lizzo are true. And I'm sorry, even if it isn't true, she had a dog water response to it.
Yeah, that's a piss poor.
Like, I suggest anyone go look at that response and imagine that it's a lie. That is a response by somebody who feels guilty but doesn't want to admit to it.
Yeah, but I mean
that's what it sounds like.
That's extremely common when it's any celebrity or famous person, issuing a response. It's always that hog shit. It's never a legitimate response. It's always a I was, I had good intentions. Yeah, I wasn't in the right mind. I'm really a good person. It's always some dumb bullshit like that. It's never just I fucked up. Sorry, right?
Yep. And I'm sorry. You could talk about. Oh, sorry.
No,
before I'm just gonna finish my thought.
Finish
and
your
then
thought.
I'm done. You could complain about your struggles and I had to, because Lizzo apparently did come up. She didn't come up from a rich family or anything like that. But there is a timeline, and this is something that we as the people need to understand. There is a timeline with celebrities where we have to go, okay, now it's time to stop listening to this person. I can enjoy their music. I can love their fashion or whatever they do, or, but I need to stop listening to their opinions. Simply because if you stay as that upper echelon long enough, you become completely detached.
Of course.
From all of that shit.
It's impossible not to.
Exactly. That's why the golden couples that we love as celebrities, the Smiths, that's why they fucking went through the shit they went through. You can look at the Smith kids and know exactly that they're fucked.
Yeah.
The Jacksons, the same thing.
Yeah.
Like any of the politician families, the Trumps or the Kennedys or all of them are all insane people because nobody says no to them, because nobody has the ability or the money to say no to them. So it just, they are not us.
No, not at all.
And people who lift them up really need a reality check, because not enough butt kissing. Just those celebrities, and celebrities again, too much access will drive you insane. If we think that sensory deprivation would drive somebody insane, why don't you think that sensory overstimulation? Dude. Like you just have a thought and then you're just willing to pay for it to happen. That would make you fucking crazy, wouldn't it?
I've had fantasies about being in a sensory deprivation chamber. The idea of just floating in darkness, quiet, nothing going on, sounds so fucking appealing to me. But then I'm like, I'll be alone with my thoughts. So I'd either have to be really high or really sedated when I do it. Something.
So I know for a fact that I want to do it, but I know that it would not be a good time. But I feel like I just need that shock to my brain.
We should do it. I don't know if there's anywhere around here that does that.
We can't do it together, bro. That ruins the point. Now I know.
I'll be together.
It'll be two tanks. It'll be two tanks next to each other where people can hear muffled screams.
I thought you meant we'd both be in the same tank, and I was like, I like you, but not that much. Yeah, no, you know what's funny? I've been, I think I mentioned 1,000 times, I've been going through 30 Rock again because it's the best show of all time. And there's a whole episode where Tracy Jordan realizes,
of course it's Tracy.
Oh, it's always Tracy. He's the show. There's a whole episode where he realizes that he's out of touch with regular people because he's too rich and famous. And he's like, he thinks back and there's one of those throwbacks, and he's on stage. He's like, have you ever been out to a restaurant eating your lobster tails, going yum, 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 yum. And he realizes he's just completely out of touch with regular people now. So like, yeah, it's a thing. Like, it's gonna fucking happen if you get to that level. I mean, I'm you watch these YouTube videos now with these people who were just regular folks. They started creating content. Now they're doing their content. And they've got these fucking
And they're
gigantic
insane.
mansions and pools, and like you're like, okay, well now this isn't relatable content. Now you're just fucking rich, and people are
But
watching
people
how
have
rich you
that
are.
loyalty to them now.
Yeah, I guess you're right. That might
But
have
here's something even funnier, because I have an example, two examples. First example is, for me personally, I have something that I am now insane about. And I don't mean like it's a joke thing. Like, I think I'm insane every time I do this.
Okay.
When I discovered Control F on my computer,
Okay.
that made looking for things so fucking easy. Whenever I'm looking up an article or if I'm reading something, I can Control F and look for the phrase or the word that I'm looking for,
right.
because it's Control Find.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, when I open books, when I'm looking for something, my brain automatically says, hit Control F.
Oh, no, that's a very common thing.
That
You're not insane.
It physically hurts when I realize I can't hit Control F.
No, you're not insane. I've had that problem with with delete. Like, in my head, I go delete button. Like, when I want to, like, if I write a word.
Oh, no, I have to use the eraser.
Yeah. No, I've had that. I mean, like a while ago, but I had that happen.
Yeah.
I think everybody's brain has that adjustment at one point.
And I feel, to a larger scale, that amount of access to being rich does that to people.
It has to, on a much larger scale. Absolutely.
As a non-realistic example, just imagine you had a blowjob fairy.
Okay.
Just anytime you
I
want
like
a
where you're
blowjob,
going with this.
it just happens. Like a little magic wand, and you get a magic blowjob fairy. It just happens.
I'm the blowjob fairy. I'm here to give you your blowjob.
At first, it's a little weird.
Do
You try to be
want
humble
teeth
about
or not?
Exactly. Like, it's exactly how you want it. It's perfect every time.
All right. I like where you're going.
And at first, you're trying to be modest with it. You don't want to overuse it. You don't, you might want to. You might at first care about the fairy's feelings, because you're just like, is this what you want to do? Like it's uncomfortable, but it feels too good. You're not going to stop. Like, that's amazing. Anytime you want it, yeah. And then over time, that becomes normal. It becomes a thing that just happens.
It's not fun anymore.
It's just it's not even that's not even fun anymore. It's the thing. Like, you don't masturbate anymore. You don't have sex anymore, because
you have a blowjob fairy.
And then in a year or two, it goes away.
And then you're fucked. Your brain's fucked.
Your brain is altered. Your brain is fucking altered.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I feel like money and access is the same thing.
I think you're 100%
and there's nobody
right.
that specializes in that kind of thought patterns for people. And I'm not demonizing rich people. As much as I hate rich people.
No, I know.
It's just a sad reality, I feel, for them.
No, you're right.
Like, the fact that people like Elon Musk can do stupid shit.
Literally buy a multi-billion-dollar platform and treat it like it's a developer sandbox. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
I just had an example not that long ago, like within the last couple of months. I picked up a physical book for the first time in a while, and I tapped the word on the page because I wanted to define it, like my Kindle. And I went, I can't believe I just fucking did that.
Yep.
But no, you're 100% right. It's blowjob fairy. That reminds me. Are you familiar with Tim Pool? You know who he is?
Oh, God. Unfortunately, him and his stupid backwards hat. I hate white dudes.
No, now he wears like a knit cap. I saw
does he?
I was vaguely familiar with him, but I saw like a little clip on YouTube of him saying something, and I was like, huh. So I listened to 2 of his podcasts, and I don't agree with anything he says, but I do appreciate that's not true. He talked about he's for socialized medicine. He talked about he's for like there's stuff but I
feel like he's a grifter, but I agree.
He's 100% a grifter. I don't disagree with that at all, which is why he's bad. But I did respect the fact that he really seemed to just like think for himself. Like, he'd just be like, this is why I feel about this. Like, this is the issue. I feel about it this way because of these reasons, not because of a bunch of bullshit you've heard 37 times other people saying. He was reparroting it. Like, he was saying things that made sense. But no, they did an episode on whether prostitution should be legalized, and he was talking about, like, they were having a conversation about like, okay, well, let's say you're going to get a job, and the boss wants to put in the contract that you have to give him 5 blowjobs a week. Like, is that okay? And like, one of the person was like, yes, it's an at-will thing. If that's part of the contract and you agree to it, then that's just like prostitution.
I mean, that's what a porn star does. I mean, Just
Well, like
saying.
I get the point. Like prostitution, I'm gonna
But
pay you money.
also,
You're gonna blow me, right?
but
So if I'm the
also, I
boss
mean,
and I want to say I'm gonna pay you this money and you have to blow me, that's part of your contract. And
I mean, that's a little different
no, it
because, for
is
instance, if you sell your shit online, right, the person paying you for the shit that you're selling isn't your boss. That's just an exchange. It's like
right.
that's sort of like barter. That's like
Oh
bartering.
yeah, there's a different
The
power
difference
dynamic.
when you say it's your boss, that's a power dynamic.
Right.
Exactly. That is instantly a power dynamic. There is during a sex exchange, if you want to say, I doubt that. I don't think there is a power dynamic unless you enter a pimp.
Well, typically there's a if there is a power dynamic, it's the prostitute being, a form of a dominatrix or something like that and inflicting some
Exactly.
sort
If
of
that's part
punishment
of
on the
the
man.
contract,
Yeah.
if that's part of the
No,
contract,
no,
if a power dynamic
just
is part of the
to
contract.
be clear, I wasn't agreeing with it. I was just
Oh,
like
no, no, no. I was
the
just, you
fact
just said that and that made me
the fact
think
that they
that.
were like actually talking through the issue, like what about this, what about that? I was
Which
like,
is rare, which is
that's
super
good.
rare.
Like people are actually talking, and the one woman was like, well, if that was the case, every man in every job, every
Would
man would do
require
that.
that.
I was like, that's not true at
It's not
all.
true.
I,
It's
I
not
was like,
freaking
I
true.
doubt 5% of men in that, because there's still the moralistic standard and the culture standard and the judgment that would come with
And
doing something like
honestly,
that, right?
there's a lot of people that aren't comfortable with
Well,
prostitution.
and there's also people that aren't dickheads that would be like, you have to blow me if you're my employee, because I'd feel like a complete
Yeah,
piece of shit doing that,
absolutely.
But anyway,
Look, in the army, we had one sergeant that was like that. He wanted that kind of thing, and the rest of us were like, no, because when we got a female soldier, that's what they tried to do,
that's fucked.
and we ousted that guy quick.
Good. When you hear stories about the
Like,
army and
so
harassment stuff like that, so it's good to know in your unit
yeah,
you were
we
like,
got rid of him. Like,
fuck
they
that.
pulled me from my deployment to help get rid of him.
But that just goes to show that you were a group of men that were like, no, this isn't okay.
No, like there was nothing okay with that.
I don't know. They also I mean, a lot of the debate was over morality, the morality of things, and
Yeah.
I just got annoyed with that because morality is subjective.
Morality
think-
is a very unfortunate way.
I think
morality is very based off of culture.
It's based off of culture, absolutely, and upbringing and environment, and all kinds of other shit. Everything, financial stat, like everything. I have no problem with if somebody wants to pay somebody $50 to blow them. I don't give a shit. But there are other people that literally are like, you're the devil if you do that, and you can't like. No, that's just the way you feel. Like that's your personal morality. Like I hate the idea because one of the women was talking about how morality should be at the base of law, and it's like no, it can't.
That's scary.
Yeah, right.
No,
like, it can't be.
Anytime morality has anything to do with law, we get like Roe versus Wade getting overturned.
Yeah, I mean, morality is not universal. You can't make laws based on something that's subjective. Anyway,
now mind you, if you put up the Roe versus Wade comment that I made, I'm sure we'll get a liberal cucks comment again.
Liberal, you fucking liberal cucks! How dare you? There is
it's just like, oh, because you like women, not freaking carrying the dead babies in their body if they miscarriage.
There's there's a TikToker. What the hell's her name? Like Reb on the Rebrand or something like that. She's, I think, an attorney. Yeah, she's an attorney. Like she's an attorney. She's this young woman, and I first started following her because she did these really funny court transcript reads. Like she'd read ridiculous court transcripts, but she does a lot of videos on just legal stuff too. And I literally saw one last night. She was talking about overturning Roe versus Wade and all of the references of how it's a privacy issue and all the previous privacy issues about the gay marriage case, the segregated. Well, what do you want to call it? Interracial marriage case. There was another one, and she's talking about that, and she broke it down really well. Like anyway, but again, it's not a morality issue. It's a privacy issue. It's a legal. You can't bring morality into that. It's based on,
and that's the
law.
problem. I feel like is the heart of the arguments that a lot of people, because there's a lot of emotional arguing and a lot of moral arguing.
Yeah,
when it's honestly it's a humanistic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in fairness,
like,
it's very, very hard not to. I mean, to be able to just
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's really difficult because of that.
Yeah, it's
because it's very humanistic.
It's I would say it's almost impossible to just completely put aside your own human beliefs and morals and try to make a judgment without. How can you do that? You can't.
I feel like
hardwired.
Before they even, when they brought it up to repeal it or whatever, they should have thought of the aftermath of those things, because there are a lot of like bad things that are happening not because women want to abort, because there are so many cases that nobody hears about because nobody talks about the things that are not the extremes.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, this is going to be considered not extreme, because when abortion wasn't a thing, women died in childbirth all the fucking time.
Oh yeah, I mean,
And that's
1800s,
one of the side effects.
17th century.
If you have a miscarriage and the baby's been so far along, and then all of a sudden the baby dies and is still in the body, it's going to cause sepsis.
Wait, did I say 17th century? 18th century? That's the 19th century, right? 1800s?
I believe so.
1800s?
1800s.
I'm going to sound like a moron.
I think so.
I'm not going to go through. I'm not going to do the mental gymnastics necessary in my head to figure this out right now. I'll just sound like an idiot.
I'm not a historian.
I'm not a hysterial. I'm not a hysterial.
But yeah, but in regard, people don't think of the aftermath of these laws. The problem with laws is you have to think of the ripple effect. People don't. They just think, well, I get my law in place and that's it.
Yeah. Oh, that's
no. Same thing with guns and marriage, sexual orientation. All of that is freaking ridiculous, man.
I'm not gonna. They were talking about marriage on that same episode. I'm not gonna get into it because there's just too much to unpack, and I don't feel like unpacking all that shit. I know
we went from Lizzo to this.
That's our show, man. We just jump from point to point, complaining about shit, or not complaining and just commenting. I guess maybe we don't complain all the time. We do have some mail, but I think we'll save that for the next episode.
We do have mail.
Yeah, we do. We got another one from Aaron. So. We'll skip that one for this time. I think we should probably get into the topic so we're not super, super long, because we'll probably talk about the topic for a while too, like we tend to do. So what do you think? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, fine.
All right, let's fucking do this shit.
It's time to begin the complaining.
Today, we're going to talk about ASA people. Maybe that's not the best phrase. We'll think of a better one maybe when we publish this. But go ahead, Joaquime. This was your.
I'm gonna call them assholes.
Assholes? Oh, I like that. There we go. Assholes. Topic created.
Oh God. So have you ever watched a video online or went on Facebook? I don't have it personally, but I'm sure that they're there too.
Oh, they're there.
And somebody brings up a topic or something that they're kind of expert on, or just a life experience. And all of a fucking sudden, it has to be the top 3. It's going to be as a this. So, is somebody, so somebody's talking about having hemorrhoids. It's well, as a person who has hemorrhoids.
Hey, I told you to keep that to yourself.
Or as someone who has an ass, I feel they always have to feel like some kind of subject matter expert because they are a part of it.
No matter how disconnected it is from the actual topic at hand.
Yeah. Because to me, you are just writing on a fucking screen. I don't give a shit who you are. You're making a comment. I'm going to comment back. It's going to be back and forth. But fucking... you're not getting more merit from me because you're saying you are this type of person. And I know I've been guilty of it until it finally clicked to me.
I have, because I'm a white man and I can't say as a white man.
You can't say that or you will be instantly the bad guy.
Yeah, so personally, I have no investment in this topic because I'm just a bad man if I say that.
Welcome to being a victim, bitch.
As a white man, I'm canceled. Life is over for me.
Instantly, nobody gives a shit what you have to say.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like you might as well just put a comment. It might as well just start with, "Don't read this."
Well, which on TikTok, one thing I want to do, I honestly, I want to do is look for all the black TikTokers that start their videos by going, "Dear white people," or "White people this." And just see if there's any white peoples on there.
Dude, I saw a video like that just the other day.
You should be able to do that on those. Because they're so prevalent on TikTok.
I guess so, yeah.
Because TikTok is so good for dumb hot takes.
I literally just saw one the other day that was It was, I don't know, I don't even know what movie it was. It was a black woman talking about a movie that was coming out, and she was basically saying that if you're a white person, you should not buy tickets for opening weekend. This is our weekend. It's our weekend to go see this movie, and you need to stay
they
at
did that
home.
for Black
And if
Panther
you buy
too.
tickets, you better give them to somebody who's black so they can go see the movie this
I
weekend.
saw that for Black Panther.
Yeah.
Personally.
Which is not a hot take. It's a stupid take.
It is very, very stupid.
Because I just, simply for the fact that I hate that argument. I hate the argument when you start trying to exclude anybody from anything. And
It's gatekeeping.
well, yeah, we're gonna do a whole episode on gatekeepers because that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
I can't stand that. I think people should be able to enjoy anything they are interested in, regardless of who they are and what they do and any of that shit. If I want to go watch Black Panther for the opening weekend because I'm a Marvel fan, why the fuck can't I go watch it? Like, it's just.
And oh, sorry. No, I was gonna say, and mind you, I'm starting to feel that people are catching on to that. The assholes are becoming a thing. So I think recently I've just started seeing some cheeky like asas coming in,
like
making fun
okay,
of them.
like I was gonna say parody or satire type little comments.
Yeah, because Instagram is really good for asses. Like you will find an assholes on like every
Instagram,
post
yeah,
on
Instagram is. Twitter is too. Absolutely.
No, go on.
I think this is the first time we both had dead silence and weren't talking over each other at some point. Usually we just overlap each other a
That was
little bit.
beautiful. We both did a
deflect. We
did like
deflected
a Street
things.
Fighter deflect.
No, I was just going back. Like I can't go on that video about that movie and comment as a white man. I'm really disappointed in this because I can't. Like if I do that, I'm just gonna get flamed. Nobody's gonna listen to me. I mean, that's not true. There'll be a few white supremacists that TikTok makes it come up in their
that will
feed
take your side
just to anger them, and they'll go comment and be like, "Yeah, I want to go see this fucking movie. It's my." I don't know why they're Southern. Oh,
It's my right to
what am I
do
talking
so.
about? I know why they're Southern. It's my right to go see this motherfucking movie if I want to go see it.
I'm gonna take my sister cousin with me.
She gonna come with me.
We're gonna make out right in the front row.
We're gonna go watch your Negro movie, and there ain't nothing you can do to stop us.
Man, I do love that Will Smith.
Of course it's Will Smith.
He's the people's black person.
He is the people's black person. Well, no, not anymore, man. He smacked Chris
still
Rock, and now he's not. You don't hear about him anymore. You really don't. When's the last time you heard anything about Will Smith?
No, that's because he like huddled. He just like turned into a turtle, and he'll come back. He did a few movies. He's trying to slowly drip feed.
If fucking O.J. Simpson could like get back into the spotlight, I think Will Smith could get back into the spotlight.
Well, he never got back into those spotlight.
He got back in headlines. Yeah, but
he kept trying.
He was getting back in paper.
Spotlight.
All right,
that is not a spotlight. That's like fucking a halogen light.
Well, I mean, look, I'm comparing like severities of what they did.
Under the LEDs right now.
Look, it's just a shift. He murdered 2 people, and then he like kind of got back in papers. He
should be under the police lights.
Will Smith smacked somebody, and now he'll come back and be like famous again.
Okay. The problem is Will Smith smacked somebody and then talked that opposite bullshit like he didn't just smack somebody like an hour before. Man, I just want to thank my family, and I want to thank
Chris Rock for just let me smack the shit out of that bitch. That's my Will Smith voice.
My hand's stinging right now, but just they love me, man. I love you. And it was a fuck hit. Like, fuck that Hollywood.
That would have been great.
Fake positivity bullshit.
If he just ended was like, God damn, my hand hurts.
That would have been great. I would have forgiven him.
Yeah, I would have too.
I'm not even angry at it.
Everybody would have.
I'm not angry at it.
I'm not angry at it either. I don't really give a fuck.
I wouldn't have made any deal of it at all. Only people I get mad about are, and this has been a thing that a lot of black people online have been doing, is like, he disrespected his woman. Black men in America need to respect, like they just turn it into a whole race thing.
As a black man in America, you need to respect your woman.
That's pretty much.
I mean,
and I'm just like,
everybody really should do that.
First of all, just so you know, black people in America have been around longer than we've been on the internet. So I'm sure that most people on the internet know what black people, like at least the people you are talking to know, except for the people who aren't in America. And are you trying to educate them, or are you just trying to signal out that you're a proud black person?
Oh, you're trying to say, wow.
But that goes.
That's
But anyone on.
isn't that at the core of any ASA argument? Aren't you just
But no, that's
signaling
what I'm
out?
saying. That's all of them.
Yeah,
all of them.
100%. That's all it is.
And it's just like, and the same thing Europeans do. Like, well, as a European, I don't agree with this. Like, I don't give a shit. You're on the internet. You're the same fucking ass. Your thumbs are doing all the work like mine are.
Yeah.
You might be doing text-to-speech like I am. Like, I don't give a shit. You're a ghost to me.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. If you don't agree, you don't agree. Like, I don't need to know, your background to know that you disagree. If you disagree, just make your point.
Yeah, all I care about is you disagree, make a good point, and we'll see. I don't know, most people don't want that.
Well, that's true. What is as a year? Like, how does that mean anything? Just tell me why.
It gives no fucking merit.
Give me the fucking
explanation.
No fucking merit. I don't agree with that because of X, Y, and Z. As a European, what the fuck does that have to do with it? What the fuck's that mean?
Oh, gun debates are the easiest way to find assholes.
As a gun owner?
Like, as a gun owner, as a non-gun owner, as a person who lives in a country with no guns, as a person who lives in a country with guns, as an American, as a black person, as a white person, as an Asian person, we get stabbed with knives. All these fucking, you will find them. As a bullet, like, you'll just find a bunch of people just be as a...
Yeah, and any of those situations, you could just say, you could just state your point. You don't need to predicate it with anything.
Yeah, because people are just going to see, I don't give a shit, because unless I'm looking at your profile picture to find out if you're a bot or not, and I know that's me personally, most people look for your profile picture to find an ad hominem to attack you with. Because that's the only reason why people look at other people's profiles when they don't know them.
Oh, absolutely. I can't even... I literally saw a Twitter comment the other day where I can't remember what it was on, but somebody commented on a tweet with like a diverse opinion, and somebody responded and was just like, well, you're fucking ugly, so of course you think that, or something along those lines. It's like, what? Yeah, good job. That's great. Great comeback, buddy. You made your point. You've convinced everyone. I applaud you. You look like a turtle, so
dumbest. I applaud you for spreading your cheeks and just shitting right into your hand. I applaud you for that one. And then you clapped afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You know that dude did that. Was like so happy with himself. He's like, I sure got her. I told her she was ugly, and she wasn't. By the way, she was a reasonably normal-looking human being. Oh wait,
like,
am I inferring that there are ugly people? Oh no.
And let's be real about like oh my god, I want to see people to do that shit, like, as an ugly person, and I don't mean like not even as a joke. I want them to be dead serious. Like, no, I think I am ugly, and I need to give people the information that the ugly experience has gone through.
As a homely person,
like, hell, I should start doing that. That's my new thing now. I'm just gonna pop into any.
You comment as an ugly person?
Yes, just ugly comments all the time. Just like, well, as an ugly person, I feel like guns aren't aimed at me enough at all.
That's so good. That's so good.
Like, people just don't want to even look at me, so they don't shoot at me.
That is a high level of trolling. I only get
ricochets.
And I really I only get ricochets. It's not fair. Like, I want to be shot just as much and just as
I want to be treated equal.
I want to be shot just as coherent. That's not the right word. I can't talk today. I want to be coherent. I want you to shoot me just as much as you want to shoot a more attractive person. It's not fucking fair.
I can't believe that you guys don't believe in abortion. I believe in abortion. I'm ugly. As an ugly person, I should have been aborted as soon as my mom saw my face.
So good. Come on, this is perfect.
I should have gotten a post-birth abortion.
Oh, we need to think of another one for me to do now. How's about as an impotent man? As an ugly person, I make people impotent. I am a danger to everyone That's
around.
Gonna be my you do. I'm gonna do as an impotent man.
Oh, that's awesome.
As
Yes.
an impotent man, I believe that abortion should be illegal because then I don't have to worry about having sex and impregnating anybody. Some bullshit
As an
argument. I don't
impotent
know.
man, I feel like sponges should be banned from all of the world. Sponges remind me
Of my-
of how my spongy tissue cannot fill with blood. Just keep going to like this medical diatribe. So you have like a whole paragraph.
As an impotent man, I personally do not like hot dogs at barbecues because their floppiness reminds me of my flaccid member.
And how dare they bring those mini weenies there?
They're also not only are they attacking my inability to harden my cock, they are also mocking my infinitesimally small size. Oh man!
On that note,
I've never
I
been
want
this red.
buttons banned,
Oh,
especially buttons on fur coats.
excuse me. Woo! Woo!
Oh my god!
You know what? I'm going to bring this into this conversation because it kind of goes along. I mentioned to you before we started recording, I had started Elliot Page's book because, and here's why.
Okay.
I was extremely interested in the perspective of someone who grew up feeling they were trans, who lived life feeling trans, who made the transition, and basically everything that goes along with it. I don't have any real perspective on that. So it's like, this would be a good book for that. And it wasn't that. It was really
Okay.
it was really hard to relate to because I don't know if this is going to come off as bad or not, but it really seemed more like as a rich trans person, not as a trans person. Like it just seemed like everything in it was. I really wanted to hear about the childhood stuff. Like, how did you feel when you were a child? How did you know? And it was glossed over. It was very, very short. It was just like, I used to like having a boy's haircut and I'd go and audition and stuff. And
It was
then
like superficial.
yeah,
things,
and it was like, and then
almost?
eventually
Yeah.
they told me I had to grow my hair out or they wouldn't cast me because I was getting too old to be a cute tomboy. And it's, that's not what I was looking to hear. And then really all of the stuff that I would really have been interested in about what it was like to be trans and not feel able to speak that truth. I can't believe I used that phrase. To be trans,
or not even actually have an understanding of what it was.
Right.
Because I'm sorry, just understanding your sexuality as somebody in any like belief or sexuality,
right?
To not even have that understanding and grow into the understanding, what is the trans experience like growing into the understanding of that? Because there's an extra few layers that go along.
That's all the stuff I was really interested in. I thought that the book was going to explore. And you know what? Maybe I'm just wrong. We're talking about a famous person writing a book about being famous, maybe, and I was just wrong.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was just like, I'm rich and famous, and I can't come out as gay or as trans because I won't be rich and famous anymore. And that's really hard for an average person to relate
I'll lose
to.
my career.
Right. It's not.
Sorry, you have the money to try to get another trade. I'm not saying you shouldn't do the thing you love. Don't get me wrong.
No.
The thing you love is very superficial.
Right. And
like the business.
That's not the side I wanted to hear about. I wanted to hear about what it was like dealing with family, dealing with, I'm worried about how my friends, it was really more just that. It was like, I couldn't come out because I would lose my career and I would lose my money.
Book for people who are more into the celebrity aspect, as you
said. Yeah, I think that's really what it was. But it was just hard because I'm listening to it and I'm just like, there are people who have to deal with this lifestyle and are worried about getting kicked out of their home or losing their job, like real like poverty. Not like I'm not going to be a famous actor anymore. So I was really just a little disappointed that I guess I didn't. But it was like it wasn't as a trans person. It was as a rich trans person. So it's just a little
because
not what I was.
Being rich is the first thing.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I guess you're right.
The same.
You're right.
Yeah, it's just that's the first thing is that they are all insane. No matter how nice they are. There's something wrong with their brains. Like, I'm starting to believe that affluenza is an actual problem. I know it was meant as a joke.
Affluenza.
But that
makes sense.
Too affluent, and it's like a mental disorder.
Well, like we said, I don't know how it could not totally fuck with your head and completely change your perspective on things. I mean, just think about for us, like if we lived our normal American lives and then like all of a sudden we were North Koreans and living in North Korea.
Oh God!
Like it would be complete. We'd be like, we don't know how to fucking deal with this shit. It would be a mess.
No, because like you can't get somebody going like as a rich person because they'll be demonized just like as a white person.
Yeah.
They'll be you're instantly a white supremacist, and you'll get like, white supremacists going, "Yeah, man," and that's not the crowd you want.
No, not at
Like
all.
I don't want black supremacists doing that for me, and I know that's not necessarily a thing. When we're
Excuse
talking
me.
about the people who excuse their racism because systematic racism exists.
Yeah. You know what?
Like
Also,
I don't want that.
You know what I also really, really hate? I hate when my brain completely forgets my point.
Oh.
Dude, my
I do that all the time.
short-term memory is so bad lately. Like I literally I'll think like I'll be on my phone, I'll be like, "Oh, I need to go check that." And I'll go to open my app drawer, and by the time my app drawer is open, I go, "Oh, wait. What was I going to do again?"
Yep, I've done that. I do this thing where I'll ramble. If you can't tell, I'll ramble if I can't remember my point.
Not me. I
And
just freeze.
I realize I do that on my phone. If I can't remember something, I start swiping back and forth in all kinds of directions, trying to like, I guess, find that pattern
Yes.
that will bring me back to that thought.
I do the same
I'm
thing.
just-
I'll start going back through like with the app I had open, and like, oh, it came back to me. I hate. This was another thing that came up on one of those Tim Pool episodes. So I'm bringing them up because I'm bringing them up on this podcast because as I was listening to the 2 episodes, there were just so many points where I was just like wanted to yell and be like, no, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
He had one episode where he had somebody from like a really left-wing podcast on, and they started giving him shit because this neo-Nazi shooter apparently had screenshots of one of his videos, Tim Pool's videos, on his phone. And she was like,
Okay.
"No, why do you think your content appeals to neo-Nazis?" And I fucking hate that argument. Like people made that argument about Trump too, which drove me crazy. Like, well, there's the neo-Nazis support him. Well, of course they support him. They're not going to support the fucking super liberal left people that are like, want everybody to get along. They have to support the person that's more conservative. And, even if it's not exact ideals, they're not going to support the person that's the farthest away from their racism. They're going to support the person that's closest.
Who's closer? Yeah, exactly.
He appeals to neo-Nazis because they're the closest thing to him. Doesn't make them the same.
That happened to Ben Shapiro too. Do I like Ben Shapiro?
Yes.
No, but he shouldn't be surprised that those people like listen to him. But the people who are indicting him for it shouldn't be surprised either, because it's not like people on the left aren't doing crazy crap,
right?
Like life ruination.
They actually brought that up on the podcast. He said he was talking about the podcast that this woman was on. He said the person that created it, there was a person who killed several cops in Ohio, I think it was, that had posted a bunch of clips from their show, and he was like, "So why do you support cop killers?" It's just a stupid fucking argument.
You took up the job of being a mouthpiece for a political point. So you're going to get extremists on your end no matter what. So that
by definition
empties, adding politics in general for it. If you're willing to hate somebody over politics, then you are closer to being that kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I don't hate people for their politics. I hate people for how they act based on the politics they believe.
Yes, that's a good point. That's a good point.
And so you could be a conservative. I make fun of conservatives, but honestly, I'm not that far away from a conservative.
No,
and I don't mean.
I'd like to think I'm pretty in the middle on a lot of. If you took all the issues and divvied them up, you'd probably come out somewhere around the middle,
probably closer towards the middle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I'm closer to a conservative than somebody with blue hair. If I see somebody with blue hair, and this sounds really messed up, but it's true, blue hair and horn-rimmed glasses, I'm weary around them.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because I feel like if I say the wrong thing, they're going to turn all my friends against me if I made friends in that friend group by any means necessary.
No,
strangely enough, when I talk to people, I usually appeal to redneck truckers, which is really messed up because I'm one of the good ones, I guess.
You're one of the good ones, brother. I can call you brother, right?
But I find it that I never agree with anything they say. So that's why I feel like I'm in the middle. I don't like blue hairs, but I also don't agree with Like, I openly don't agree with them. I'm like, nah, I don't feel it's that way, and this
Right.
is how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't have this understanding that I have of this scenario.
It's funny that you put it that way because I actually feel like the inverse of that. I feel that I'm in the middle because I find that no matter who I'm talking to, I can find some common ground to have a conversation with them about. When I go to my barber, who's like crazy Trump supporting, fucking conspiracy theory guy, I can find things to talk about him that we have common ground on. If I'm talking to the liberal people in our area that friended me on Facebook because of one comment I posted once, there's common ground I can find with them and have a conversation with them. That's why I feel that way, because I feel like no matter who I'm talking to, I can find some sort of common ground and have conversation about that. But to your point, also call them out on their bullshit. When they get bullshit, be like,
that's
nah,
I feel
bullshit.
like a human regulator.
Yes.
I feel like a human regulator.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
And what's really kind of funny about that is, like, with the left and right, or however you want to divvy it up, because there's people, when I listen to people on the left, they act as if people on the left never do anything wrong. And as I said, people who believe in life ruination more so lean on the left side. And I am wholly against life ruination.
Agreed.
Because you're not just affecting that person, you're affecting anybody they're attached to.
They both ruin lives in different ways. I talked about in one of our early episodes that book, The Constitution of Knowledge by Jonathan Rauch, which is a great book. And it talks all about how the right uses misinformation to get their point across, and they ruin lives that way. And the left uses cancel culture to get their point across, and they ruin people's lives that way, which is, I think, probably more what you're speaking to.
No, when I speak to life ruination, I mean that.
Yeah. That's what I figured.
But misinformation is definitely a way of ruining people's lives. And again, they both believe in, by any means necessary. I've heard on both sides, because YouTube refers a lot of right-wing people to me. And I listen to a lot of left-leaning people. So
Me too.
like cross-reference a lot of them.
Yeah, I get the same algorithm things. It's weird.
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets it like way off base. It's like it's still learning all these years later.
God, it's insane.
Like sometimes they'll post something kind of conservative leaning, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then they post some fucking whack job talking about something. I'm like, why is this here?
Why are you sending me the quarter rate? He's a drunk idiot.
Yeah. So,
So yeah, I'm listening to both of them, and I listened, like, one day I was listening to one video, and they're talking about, like, how the left eat each other, which is true, and then I was listening to a left-leaning person going, the right eat each other, which is true. And I'm just like, nobody's going to mention this. Nobody's going to mention that they both do the exact same thing to one another.
Well, neither would admit it.
Am I crazy that I'm the only one who wants to mention this?
No.
Because if I bring it up in the comment section, I'm just going to get eaten alive.
You're an
by both
outside
sides.
observer, so you're able to notice these things. You're like a scientist looking through the glass.
Yeah,
you're able to observe these things that people in the moment can't fucking. Dude, I went to get a haircut just the other day, and did you know that Obama killed his chef?
Oh, apparently what?
Yeah.
That was his
thing, and I said, nah, I hadn't heard about that. He said, of course you haven't. Everybody's covering it up. All the media is keeping it out of the papers. So I got home and I looked it up, and Obama's chef died allegedly in a paddleboarding accident. And he was going on, and he's like, he's this big, strong black dude. There's no way he drowned in like 4 feet of water on a paddleboard, blah, blah. And he goes, but that wasn't his meat and potatoes. His meat and potatoes was, and the next day, Obama's photographed playing golf. He's got bandages on his fingers, and he's got a black eye. So go ahead, say what you were going to say, and I'll come back to this.
Okay. Oh, all right. I really thought that was going to go another way, because I mean, given that he's like a big Trump guy, I do have like a character database in my head where, like, he might be a little racist. So I thought,
probably
where he was going with that is that, since black people can't swim, it was just gonna be easy to have him die in the water.
No, he didn't go that route.
That's where I thought he was going.
This is the same guy.
So I was starting to worry.
This is the same guy where we were watching. He had Creed 3 on. He was talking about how black people are built different. They're beasts, man. They're just built different. And like, it's casual. I don't think he's a straight up racist. I think he's just, it's a more casual, learned racism through just society and family, and the little things trickle in. He's a good guy. I like him.
Article. I told my mother-in-law to save the article, but she forgot, and I forgot. There was an article she read to me, because I can't read, Now that's gonna be clipped.
Oh, you've let it into the box. I have hemorrhoids and you can't read. And I'm impotent.
I'm just an ugly man who can't read. No, so there was an article about Florida because Florida's an insane place,
Yes, it is.
and they're pushing. Was it the vice president went there to have a meeting to talk about pushing the notion that slaves were actually people are benefited from slavery.
Oh boy.
like slaves also benefited from slavery.
Wait, our vice president was pushing this point?
I can't remember exactly how it went, but she was there for a meeting that was like to push a law to pretty much do the complete opposite of what they were complaining about with with a critical race theory. So my thing is like, so you people fought critical race theory so hard, like you fought it tooth and nail.
But now you're
saying, well, it's going to teach white kids to hate each other.
Now you're going to argue the inverse,
and then you're going to argue and you're nobody's. How is this a tiny article in a newspaper in New York?
I don't know.
What am I looking at right now? Because this is literally crazy pill territory.
It's fucking shenanigans. It's a fucking it's lunacy.
Shenanigans.
It's lunacy.
Dogs and cats living together. Complete hysteria.
Up is down. Night is day.
Black is white. Michael's back from the dead. What is happening? I could not believe that my mother-in-law was staring at me, and my mother and my father-in-law staring at me like, what is this? Like these are two old white people thinking this is the most ridiculous garbage they've ever heard.
You should think of that as a positive. At least some people are smart enough to fucking see that. I guess they're not, holding political offices, but.
Well, I'd say they're not old and holding political office.
Wait, I just want to cap off my Obama thing, just to be clear. I got home. I got home. Took me about 10 minutes starting to look around online. Very quickly found pictures of Obama with bandages on his fingers because I just Googled it, Obama bandages, from 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 5. He bandages his fingers every time he plays golf to avoid blisters. Same places every single time. Took me no time at all to just Google that, find those pictures. And I searched Obama black guy, and some of the articles that came up were talking about how, like 5 years ago, a lot of people were talking about how Obama always looks like he has a black eye because of the way his shape is faced on one side. In a certain light, it always looks like he has a black eye. In fact, the article title was, "Why does Obama always look like he has a black eye?" It just took me fucking 10 minutes of Googling a couple simple phrases to go, oh, okay, well, that's bullshit. It's that easy. And I didn't read an article that said it's bullshit for these reasons. I just independently Googled those phrases and found those things and went, oh, I guess this is bullshit, right?
For the longest time, those same people were trying to push that that Michelle Obama was actually a man.
Oh, I remember that. Michael Obama.
Yeah. They were trying to push that for the longest time.
Why? But why?
And
what does that
accomplish? She literally
accomplish?
spat out 2 kids that look just like both of them.
Why? What does that accomplish? Though?
Oh, wait. Did they have 2 kids?
Yes.
No, they had a kid and a dog.
No, they have 2 kids.
They had two girls.
Malia and I forget the other.
Michelle.
No, yeah.
No, Michelle's a wife.
Malia's one of his daughters.
Camille.
Yeah, Obama has 2 daughters, yes.
Has two girls that look like both of them.
Malia and the other one, she's going to college.
That is really good.
It's pretty good, right?
Like that caught me off guard.
Obama's not too bad.
I mean,
he's got 2, yeah.
We both have a 50-50 chance of getting it.
Yeah, absolutely. His voice is more about the syncopation than anything else.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if one day we can all get together.
It'll be great. And
have coffee.
We're going to go down.
I love yours.
Go to the White House, and that's where we got to be. We got to be right in the middle.
I love your Obama.
Not on the
so
left,
much.
not on the right. We got to bring both sides together, and we got to try to make them come together and be as one. So anyway, I got I can do Kermit. Have you ever redo Kermit?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hello, this is Kermit the Frog. I'm here to tell you that it's about time for us to end the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew and Joaquime, yay! That was yay!
I think you and I should do an entire episode.
As Kermit the Frog.
Idea. Yeah,
How about
Kermit
Fozzie?
the Frog.
Hi there, Kermit.
I cannot do Kermit at all. Not Kermit. I mean, Fozzie. I can't do Fozzie.
I
what-
regularly do accents in my home. I constantly do
I could do Cookie Monster.
Russian,
That's easy.
Irish, Scottish, Swedish. I do accents all the time. My kids hate it. They hate it. The other night, the power went out. When the power went out, I was going, "Oh no, the power went out. The freaking motherfucking power went out." And they're like, "What are you saying?" I just kept going, "The motherfucking power went out." They didn't know what I was saying, so it's okay to keep saying.
When you look at this guy, you see giant cookie.
Oh, that's good too.
Icy cookie all day.
That's good too. We should just do a whole episode of impressions.
Just us Muppets.
We'll just take turns going from impression to impression. What about Elmo? Can you do Elmo? Yeah. All right, this is funny. Back like 20 years ago, when I with the store I worked at, we had this ongoing joke that Elmo loved anal sex. We called him Easy Elmo, the king of anal. And I'd go into town and be like,
No.
"Hey everybody, it's Elmo. Elmo wants to do anal with everyone. It's Easy
I know.
Elmo, king of anal."
One of my kids had an Elmo doll, and I was able to do the voice when I was able to do the voice when I heard it. But like on my own, I could only do that. That's the only thing I could do is that laugh. I hated that tickle me.
I
Elmo
love Tickle
doll.
Me Elmo because you could tickle his private area and he'd go,
All right, we're done. We're gonna end it on that.
"No, come
We're
on,
done.
that can't be the end." All right, fine. Hey guys,
That's my positive affirmation for you. Is I like how you like to molest Elmo dolls. It's very
my positive
brave of
my
you.
positive affirmation for you is that don't feel bad about being an ugly person. Life could be worse. If we're gonna be salty,
I'm
I'm gonna
gonna
be
own my
salty.
ugliness.
All right, you motherfucker. Hey everybody, I just have one thing to say. Make sure you go and check out our website. If you don't remember the address, here's the new jingle.
ATIWIHY.com.
That's also from Justin Nousing. Thank you so much, Justin, again for those wonderful things. I think next time we talk, we'll do our mail. I got some ideas. We're gonna have some new mail shit going on, and we'll take care of that. But guys, thanks for listening. Share if you can. Send us some emails. We love getting emails. We're gonna do an email segment next week. So if you got anything you want to say, send it in podcast@atiwihy.com, or just go to the website. You can use the contact form on there to send us a message. But I guess that's it. You got anything else you want to add before we bail out?
I never have anything else to say that's good. So just stay ugly, guys.
Yeah. Don't be impotent. Yeah? Guess you can't really help being impotent. It just doesn't work. Maybe some pills. Get one of those pumps, maybe.